Meow, everybody. Cantonese Cat here. Want to talk a few minor stocks here. There are going to be five that I'm going to focus on. The reason why I'm just focusing on these five because they're larger cap and they give you a pretty good idea in terms of what the overall sector is doing. I'm going to focus on CleanSpark, Mara, Riot, Hut, and Bitfarms. This is the chart for CleanSpark. As you can see, the Fibonacci level is already drawn out here for you. The Fibonacci level has been relatively well respected. As you can see, it's been serving as support, and it's also been serving as resistance, especially the 0.136. I think that's been serving as a pretty nice resistance here for a while. Now, this coincides with the fact that there's also a big volume shelf right here, which means the price has spent pretty significant time over here as it broke above this volume shelf and broke above this Fibonacci level. He went up and tested the Fibonacci level right above it at the 0.236. Got rejected, right? Went back down, did a back test of this level. Now this level is no longer resistance. Now this level is support. It has flipped this level right here at the volume shelf and this Fibonacci level as support now. Found pretty good support, bounced up, and it went up to the next Fib level at the 0.382. Price actually went up, even a little bit higher than that. It got close to about $20 range, and it got rejected here. And guess what? There's also a huge volume shelf over here. And it initially served as a rejection right here. Now it got rejected right up here at this volume shelf now. How strong do I think this resistance is compared to, this Fib level or this level down here or this volume shelf here or this volume shelf here? I don't think it's going to be as strong a resistance moving forward, to be honest, just because the volume is not nearly as big. Another thing to notice is, guess what? If it's able to push above this Fib level over here, there's not really a whole lot of resistance over here from the volume shelf, is there? It could keep going up and it can potentially get to price exploration phase pretty quickly. Now, with that said, there is a golden ratio, which is going to be 0.618. It's generally going to be a very, very important ratio here at about $27. I do expect to see a little bit more resistance. It can spend a little bit more time up here, but the way I'm seeing right now, it wants to go up higher, and it's probably going to hit about $27. It's going to stall there a little bit, and it's going to eventually find support, and it's going to keep going up higher. Now, how much higher? That's a different question for a different day. I don't want to just throw these crazy price targets right now. I just want to show you the trend, and guess what? The trend is bullish. You know how I know the trend is bullish? The 20-month moving average is crawling up. It's pointing up higher and higher. There's an acceleration of this bull trend. And this is a 20-month moving average, so the trend is not just developed recently. It's been going on for a long time. And the more it goes up higher, the more it's going to get calculated higher, and the stronger the trend is going to become. When you have something like this, usually the trend lasts for months and months and months, and it can keep pushing price up higher. It is riding along the upper Bollinger Band right now. The Bollinger Band is expanding. The upper Bollinger Band is pointing up, and the lower Bollinger Band is pointing to the floor. This basically means that there's expansion of the Bollinger Band allowing price to go up higher. And price is also, on the other hand, pushing Bollinger Band and expanding it out, allowing the price to go higher. It takes time. But as it keeps on going up higher like that, there's a good chance that the bullish price action could potentially accelerate over time. Now, if you ask me what the price target is, I don't know exactly. Okay, I'm just going to show you a couple of levels up here. There is a possibility that CleanSpark could get up to $100. I don't know, okay? I don't want to sound crazy, but once price gets very impulsive and once a longer term moving average becomes pointing up like that, things could get pretty crazy, especially when there's irrationality. It can go up a lot higher, right? That's CleanSpark. I don't have a whole lot of things to show you on the weekly. I don't think it matters as much if you absolutely have to look at it on the weekly. If you look at it in more detail, sure, right? It's finding some resistance here at the 0.382. level right here is getting rejected. Is also went a little bit way outside of upper Bollinger Band. Is getting a little bit of a rubber band pullback. So what, right? 20-week moving average is still pointing up, and if it goes down, of course there's going to be potential risk for it to go down, right? What are the risks, right? One risk is if it ends up going down, I think that this volume shelf is going to be pretty good support around 13, right? The other big support is going to be the 0.236 level. Sure, it can go down and back test this as support. I think those are going to be your risk levels. And if it gets there, I think those are going to be pretty strong support. And I'm going to end up, trying to buy as much as I can. If it ends up going back down to those levels, I'm not sure it's going back down, no, right? That's enough about CleanSpark. Next big one, Mara. For Mara, I already have the Fibonacci level here drawn out for you. And it's doing very, very similar things. It's getting close to the 0.382 level. This also happens to have a volume shelf up here, right? It's not as high volume as the volume shelf down here. It's spending a lot more time down here, and it's trying to, it went back up, got rejected, and went back down here, and right now is trying to get above this volume shelf right here. And it's also trying to convincingly break back above this 0.236 level here. We did have a little bit of a false breakout. We broke down, and now price is trying to break back out again. It spent about 3 months trying to challenge this level right here. I think it's going to break out. Another thing that makes me know that I think it's going to break out, I don't know anything, I take it back. Another thing that makes me think that it's going to break out is that the 20-month moving average is also starting to curl up and it's starting to accelerate. With that, it makes me think there's a long-term bull trend. Now, the Bollinger Band is not as bullish as CleanSpark, right? You can see it's not going all the way down to the floor like it is for CleanSpark. But with Mara, there's a good thing. I can show you the price history. CleanSpark didn't really become a miner or true miner until December of 2020. Mara has a longer history as a miner. I'll show you some of the other price action before, right? You have a crawling up where it's moving 20-month moving average, and price goes up, right? Guess what happens last cycle? When it starts to crawl up, and it really starts to become this really, really impulsive kind of thing and push up above, right? Now, I would like to see the Bollinger Band, the lower Bollinger Band, to really go down through the floor like that. I guess it's just not ready. It's still at the early stages of this, bull cycle. It's not showing the impulsive behavior like CleanSpark is showing, but it's still a little bit over the upper Bollinger Band over here. And look at what happened last time when you have the same setup, right? I mean, price just kept on going pretty exponentially. I would like us to get over this volume shelf right here. I think if we get over this volume shelf right here, where it's been getting rejected for the last 3 months, and I think it's probably going to get over it. Once you get over it, there's another higher volume shelf right around here, around 30, which is also where it got rejected by. Once it goes above that and it goes above this 0.382 level, I think it's probably going to go up a lot higher. And again, another level that's going to be a close watch is going to be the 0.618 level, the golden ratio, right? So I think it would probably end up getting a lot of resistance if we end up getting up there around $52. But I do see the trends very strong. I think there's a strong possibility that we're going to get up there, right? Now, how high would it go? I don't know. I just give you these Fibonacci levels here for your imagination. It depends on what Bitcoin does, and it depends on what the market does. It depends on global liquidity. But I think we're just at the beginning of a bull trend here, and when things get pretty impulsive, it's going to potentially push up a lot higher, right? Let's look at RIOT. RIOT is a little bit of a laggard. Instead of challenging the 0.382 like CleanSpark and Light, Mara, it's actually kind of getting stuck around the 0.236 level. It's also got a little bit of stronger volume shelf right here. So I think that it's going to need, a little bit more time to kind of work this out. And it did spend a few months here trying to break above this level. But I do think that once this level is broken, the volume shelf above are a lot weaker. And I think it's going to become a little bit more impulsive, just like all the other miners. The greater trend 20-month moving average is also crawling up. I don't have the Bollinger expansion as much as the other ones, so this is a laggard and it shows, but the trend is really starting to change. And if you look again at the previous cycle, once I think we were maybe around this point, if it gets going, I don't necessarily expect to have an impulsive move kind of like here, but it's possible, right? Because the greater trend is changing, and because the volume shelf above this level is really not that big of a deal in terms of serving as resistance. So it could potentially get impulsive as well, just like all the other ones, but it's lagging. Now, the biggest laggard of all, which has been very, very frustrating, I'm sure, is HUT, right? HUT has been very much lagging. I want to look at the monthly chart here and kind of show you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a very similar pattern this cycle compared to the last. The last cycle is also serving as a little bit of a laggard. In 2020, Bitcoin just keeps going up, but hey, HUT didn't really do too much. It's kind of forming a little bit of like a tweezer here, tweezer here, tweezer here, which can serve as a bottom. It also just formed a tweezer over here too. It's got a very, very similar look compared to the last cycle. And the biggest volume shelf is exactly where we're finding resistance at right now, right? There's one theory that I have is that HUT's actually outperformed in July compared to the other miners. Is pushed about at this 0.236 level when the other miners actually didn't really quite do that. And maybe HUT is being punished for it. Maybe the fundamentals are actually bad. Maybe there's actually something going on that I don't know about. I'm not going to be sure if I'm going to buy it necessarily the short report. All I know is that the trend is also changing for the positive. And I'm not making this up because the 20-month moving average is crawling up, right? You actually look at the actual number. Here is, the number is going to be right here, right? You actually look at an actual number of the 20-month moving average, 10.10, 10.2. The 20-month moving average is crawling up. And the last time when it ended up, doing that, the trend became pretty bullish soon afterwards. It is still a laggard, there's no guarantee, but there's a trend change. It could still be a laggard. It could lag throughout the entire cycle. I don't know. But there's a reason why I'm holding on to HUT. I saw it bounce right here. I thought it would bounce right here. It did. It reacted pretty well. The 20-month moving average is still crawling up. So as far as I'm concerned, at this point, I'm going to end up staying in it. Now, the last one I want to talk about is Bitfarms. Bitfarms actually behaving pretty strongly as well. And if you look at the Fibonacci level, is showing you a pretty nice picture of it trying to break above the 0.382, just like all the other miners I showed earlier. And again, this level coincides with this volume shelf up here. I do think that once it breaks up here, the other volume shelf is going to be right around here, closer to about $5. It's also going to be around the 0.5 Fibonacci level here, closer to $5. It spent about 3 months trying to break above this whole volume shelf right here. I think it's going to break through, probably. Once it breaks through, it's probably going to $5. And it's probably going to find a little bit of resistance here. It's probably going to need to work out some stuff. But again, if you look at the greater trend, if you look at the bull in Japan, this is just like clean spark. Upper bull in Japan going up, lower bull in Japan going way down, 20-month moving average crawling up. It's developing also a very powerful bull trend here. I think it could go on for quite some time. 0.5 Fibonacci level at $5, 0.618 could potentially be another level where it could get some resistance up here, right? But honestly, with the powerful bull trend that could be developing, I think the prices are probably going to go up a lot higher if Bitcoin continues to go up higher, which it seems to be. I do want to point out that all these miners, they're all going to lag behind Bitcoin. They have before in the past. They will again. But once things go up, it can be very, very impulsive. Because if you look at Bitcoin, if you just look at the Bitcoin's trend, if you look at how powerful it is, it's really crawling up a lot more than the miners, and price has gone up a lot higher than the miners. The miners are lagging behind because their bull trend a lot of them are just now starting. Once it happens, I think the miners are going to be just as impulsive as Bitcoin is, if not more impulsive. They're essentially like call options when it comes to Bitcoin. That's kind of how I look at it. If Bitcoin goes up, the miners are going to make so much more ridiculous amounts of money. It's not even funny. Anyway, it's getting close to the 15-minute mark. I was able to go through all of them. If you have any questions, comments, if you want to see anything about these trends, if you want to see anything about these Fibonacci levels, or if you want me to look at these miners using different indicators, please feel free to comment. Let me know. I'm gonna let you go. Bye.